Dear friends, dear colleagues, dear activists, my name is Reintke and I'm a member of the European Parliament for the Greens in the Regional Committee, and I'm the rapporteur for a report on cohesion policy and marginalised communities. And in this report we have made very clear that EU cohesion policy can be a very powerful tool in order to make European societies more inclusive, also and especially for Roma people. But there are specific needs that need to be met in order to make it a successful tool. Because in the past we have seen that EU funding in specific cases even contributed to segregation in our societies. This year I visited a small city in Hungary where the Roma settlement that was in this city didn't have paved roads, the houses didn't have access to water, while at the same time EU funds in that same village were, instead of being invested into this settlement, they were invested in the city center to build a water fountain and to renovate the city center. These kind of examples show that it's of utmost importance that we have a very clear involvement of the people affected and that we have a very clear monitoring and evaluation system on how EU funds are being spent, especially in order not to have a situation where they are adding to segregation rather than to inclusion. Secondly, and very importantly, what we have seen is that even from an economic point of view, investing into inclusive societies will in the long run be much cheaper than having segregation and structural exclusion in our societies. So when I look at my hometown, Gelsenkirchen, for example, when there was migration, when Roma people were moving to the city, the administration of the city took a very proactive approach and said we need to see how, with regards to housing, with regards to education, with regards to employment or with regards to health, we can give an offer, we can have a welcoming approach towards these newcomers, because from our point of view, from the point of view of the administration of the city of Gelsenkirchen, in the long run this is going to be more sustainable and even cheaper with regards to public budgets. But for this, we would need a very clear commitment also from the European Commission to provide technical assistance to local administration, that they can have the administrative capacity in order to have such kind of welcoming approaches. And lastly, and I must say sadly, what I have seen in the discussions about the report is that very often it is not only a question of money, it is also a question of lack of political will and even anti-Gypsyism. And for me it has been very important to very clearly say these things and to speak out against anti-Gypsyism that is still prevalent in all European societies. So we need to have an approach where it's not only on the Roma communities to work on being more included, but actually the mainstream society needs to change, and we need to address problems with anti-Gypsyism in the mainstream societies, be it through education, be it through training programs, in order to really create an inclusive society. Now, I hope for a broader discussion, and I hope that this very important topic will stay on the agenda. And now I wish you a very interesting discussion and debate in the conference. Thank you.